Romamu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Ki Kadosh Adonai Eloheinu Romamu. Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu V'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. V'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho. V'ishtachavu Lehar Kodsho.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. I'm Rabbi Susan Abramson, coming to you from the sanctuary of Temple Shalom Emeth in Burlington, Massachusetts. And I'm joined by our Cantorial Soloist, Ben Silver. And we have special guests here this evening, the Kasanov family, who are here in honor of Hayden's becoming a Bar Mitzvah this weekend. And he's going to help to conduct certain portions of the service this evening. So I wanted to just say a word about this week's Torah portion, which is the last double Torah portion in the third book of the Torah, the book of Leviticus. And the first of the two Torah portions is called Behar. The second one is called Behukotai, but the first one, Behar, means on the mountain. And so God tells Moses from the top of the mountain that when the Israelites are supposed to cross into the land that they are supposed to inherit, they are supposed to allow the land to lie fallow for a year. It's supposed to be a sabbatical of rest. And as I was thinking about this, like, why would the first thing that God tells Moses on the mountain to be to let the ground lie, like have a Sabbath of rest when they first cross the land? Wouldn't they want to sow and produce crops and all of that? And I was thinking that it might not have been for the land, but for the Israelites, because the Israelites had just gone through this horrible ordeal of going through the desert for 40 years, this journey of 40 years, then to cross into the land. And so I really believe that the Sabbath of rest, this Jubilee year, which it goes on to explain, was for the Israelites to rest and regain their composure and to be able to get a sense of the land before they had to work the land to develop their crops. And I kind of see that there's a parallel with us right now in this moment in time, because we've just been through a year of travail, a year of on a journey that we've never been through before, with our being quarantined at home and our entire lives being turned upside down. And we're kind of on the Behar, we're kind of on the mountain right now in this month of May, looking out towards the future, out towards the land that we're going to inherit, a freer land. And so we need to allow ourselves the time to give ourselves a break and to rest and to not just jump right back into the lifestyle that we had before, because we simply can't. Our psyches won't allow us to. It's not safe for us to do from a medical point of view. There's still so much unknown. So the idea is for us on this occasion, the lesson is to give ourselves a break and to allow ourselves to just feel at rest and to feel that sense of calmness as we try to figure out the future. And so that's the end of a chapter, just like it's the end of a book that we're reading in the Torah this week. It's the end of a chapter in all of our lives, and we're looking forward to the next chapter, which we're going to begin in the very near future. And the same is true for Hayden. He's just finishing his childhood, and he's about to start a new chapter in his life as an adult in the Jewish community. So there are all kinds of ways in which this week's Torah portion is very symbolic for us. And now, speaking of Hayden, I would like to invite him and his family to come on up and light the Shabbat candles for us on pages 120 and 121. Hayden and Jacob, his brother, and Kimberly and Jeremy, his parents. Light the candle. Light the middle candle and light the two side candles, please.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us.
As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen, 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 amen.
And now we're going to continue by welcoming the Shabbat bride, which you may find on page 138, L'chadodi.
L'chadodi l'krat kala, p'nei Shabbat l'kabela. L'chadodi l'krat kala, p'nei Shabbat l'kabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echa, ishmiyanu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet b'lit hilah. L'chadodi l'krat kala, p'nei Shabbat l'kabela. L'chadodi l'krat kala, p'nei Shabbat l'kabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki ba'orech kumi ori, uri, uri, shirda beheri, kivod Adonai alayich nigla. L'chadodi l'krat kala, p'nei Shabbat l'kabela. L'chadodi לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. Last verse. בואי בשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי כלה, בואי כלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת לקבלה. פני שבת לקבלה.
And that concludes the Kabbalat Shabbat, our introductory section of our service. And now we're going to continue as we rise in body or spirit for the Baruchu on page 146. Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due, now and forever.
Baruchu et Adonai Hamavorach. Baruch Adonai Hamavorach Leolam Va'ed.
Page 148. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chochma poteach she'arim uvitvuna mishane itim umachalif et hazmanim umesader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or uma'avir yom umevi laila umavdil bein yom uvein laila Adonai tzvaot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch alenu l'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Page 150.
Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha ahavta Amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot Chukim u'mishpatim Otanu lemahadita, Otanu lemahadita. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachvenu uvkumenu nasiach bechukecha v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד, כי הם חיינו באורך ימינו, ובהם נגה יומם ולילה, נגה יומם ולילה. באהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. אוהב עמו ישראל.
Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Pages 152 and 153, we continue with the Shema, the watchword of our Jewish faith. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. Page 154.
V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha Uvlechtecha vaderech, uvshachpecha, uvkumecha, ukshartam leot al yadecha, vehayu letotafot ben enecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot betecha, uvisharecha, lema'an tizkeru, va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiyot lachem lelohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God, Adonai Elohechem Emet. We now continue with the song the Israelites sang when they crossed the Red Sea to freedom from Pharaoh's grip. Mi Chamocha, page 158.
Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh, mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot, osef ele, Nora tehilot, osef ele, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Machutecha ra'o vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze'eli anu v'yamru, Ze'eli anu v'yamru. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed. Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed.
Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praise to you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzeiteinu uvoeinu l'chaim u'shalom me'ata v'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
Top of page 161. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom, Elenu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 162, we continue with V'shamru. The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. B'ni uvein B'nei Yisrael, ohot hi le'olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et ha-shamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi'i shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam.
We now turn to the next section of our service, the Tefillah, on page 164. Please rise if you are able.
Anananananana Adonai, Ananananana sfatai tiftach, Ananananana ufi yagid tehilatecha. Ananananana Adonai, Ananananana sfatai tiftach, Ananananana ufi yagid tehilatecha. Ananananana Adonai, Ananananana sfatai tiftach, Ananananana ufi yagid יגיד, ופי יגיד תהילתך. אננננננננ אדוני, אנננננננ שפתי תפתח, אנננננננ ופי יגיד תהילתך.
Say what page we're on.
Page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu ve'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanara El Elyon, Gomel Chasodim Tovim ve'Karnei Hakol ve'Zocher Chazde Abo ve'imaho umevi Geula libnei v'neihem le'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Page 168. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atav rav le'oshia, Mechokel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol brachamim rabim, So mechno flim, brofei cholim, umatir asurim, kayem emunato lishene afar. Micha mocha baal givurot, umi domelach melech memit, chayet umatmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman atah lahachayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol.
Page 170. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated. Continue on the top of page 173. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. Now continue with the singing of Shalom Rav, a song for peace, on page 178.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov be'einecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol et u'v'chol sha'a b'shlomecha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
Grant abundant peace to Israel, your people forever, for you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Blessed are you, Adonai, who blesses your people Israel with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We now continue with the Misha Berach Get Well prayer on page 371. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. This evening we think in particular of Judy Wasserman, who is continuing to recover from having received a new kidney. And at this time, if there are names of others you'd like us to keep in our hearts and our minds, you may say their names aloud or in your hearts. We also think of the millions of people in India in particular who are struggling with the COVID virus right now. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for all of their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them all a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen.
Berach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Berach imotenu mikor habracha la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
And now, in addition to thinking of all of those who need our support and our prayers for healing, we also think about our many blessings and the ways in which we should be grateful to God at this moment. And a couple of specific ways that we're grateful in our congregation this weekend is, first of all, for the Bar Mitzvah of Hayden, that he's made it to this moment in time when he is we're welcoming into the adult community of our congregation. We also had the bris of the Jacobs family's grandson this week. It's also, we're continuing to see the flowers bloom and the trees blossom with all the rain we had this week and the sunshine today. And I think incrementally we're all more and more blessed as we go through each week. I know I myself each week feel a little bit more blessed, that I feel more comfortable maybe walking around and being with other people more often without a mask in safe situations and not being so paranoid about everything. And I hope that we all continue to move in that direction where more and more of us will be fully vaccinated so that we can be together with others. So for all those reasons and more that you might have in your own family or in our congregation, we thank God at this moment for our blessings by singing together with the Shehechianu prayer.
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה, אדוני אלוהינו, מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. אמן, אמן.
We now pause for a moment of silent prayer. And we now continue with another song for peace, O Say Shalom, which you may find on page 180.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן.
Now I continue with the concluding prayers for our service with the Elenu on page 586. Hayden and Jacob, why don't you come on up and open the ark curtain? Please rise and body your spirit. You can bring your, that's fine.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Please be seated.
Please join me at the top of page 588. שהוא נוטש שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד, אין עוד. And please turn to page 591 for the Bayom Hahu. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד היום ההוא יהיה אדוני, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד אחד ושמו אחד אחד ושמו אחד.
The introduction to the Kaddish prayer for those who have died may be found on page 598. 599. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at the season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. We recall those whose yahrzeits or anniversary of whose deaths occur this week. Monty Heyman, Jack Spivak, Carol Getman, Sidney Barkin. And at this time, if there are names of others who have died during this past week, during this past month, or the anniversary of whose deaths occur this week, you may say their names aloud or in your hearts. We also recall the over 570,000 people in our country who have died from the COVID disease, and we also remember the millions who have died around the world, particularly all of those who are dying in India at this moment. Zichronam livracha, may all of their memories be for a blessing. We turn to page 598 and rise in body or in spirit to recite the Kaddish prayer. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabba, v'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayeh d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'yizman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudasha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim Elenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Elenu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to our country, to all Israel and all the world, as we say together, Amen. Please be seated. And by the way, we also add to that Kaddish list the 45 members of the ultra-Orthodox community who were killed last week, right before our last week's service on Mount Meron in Israel. And now we are going to continue our service with the Kaddish on pages 122 and the top of 123. I'd like to invite Jeremy Kasanoff, Hayden's father, who also happens to be the first vice president of our congregation, to come on up and lead us in the Kaddish.
The heaven and the earth were finished, and all their array. On the seventh day, God finished the work that God had been doing, and God ceased on the seventh from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the seventh day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kadisho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reheshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher litziat mitzrayim. Kivanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabat kodshecha, b'yahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Amen.
Thank you. Go back to your seat. And now I would like to invite Jacob and Hayden to come on up to lead us in the motzi, the blessing over the bread, without your books. And as we like to say, this is Hayden's last time up here as a child, because from now on he'll help us lead blessings not over the bread, but he'll do the Kaddish. So take it away.
Motzi lechem min haaretz, we give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together, as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Motzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Thank you very much. I won't ask you to eat the challah with masks on. You guys can go back to your seats. So mazel tov to the Kasanoff family again, and I'm looking forward very much to Hayden's Bar Mitzvah tomorrow. And our closing song.
For our closing song, I'd like to sing, and have you sing with me, Hayden Shalom Aleichem, contemporary version that also has the words to Hine Matov in the middle of it. And you'll find the words on page, I think, 644 in your prayer books. Hayden Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem, Hayden Shalom. Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem, Hayden Shalom. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov umanayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hayden Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem, Hayden Shalom. Hayden Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem, Hayden, Aleichem, Hayden, Aleichem, Hayden Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Wishing you a week of health, happiness, and peace. Amen.